Hello everyone, I'm Byron Edwards and I'd like to share with you today information on an initiative from the Mobile Technology Association of Michigan in collaboration with the USDOT Intelligence Transportation System Joint Program Office in an effort to encourage your firm to be a part of it. As you may or may not be aware, the U.S. Department of Transportation are in the early stages of implementing a variety of large connected intelligent transportation system deployment projects across the country. The people in the field who are responsible for implementing these projects are constantly looking for an effective way to find out what products and services are available for them to use in their projects and who are the vendors they can work with. To date, they have found this search to be more than challenging. Therefore, the ITS and JPO reached out to MTAM to collaborate on a solution that we are here to talk about today. A solution that works for pilot projects, but even more so, a solution that works with connected transportation ecosystems at large as well. So give me a brief second to actually share my screen. So welcome to the MTAM Connected Technologies Virtual Environment, featuring the Connected Transportation Virtual Trade Show. This virtual environment is much more than a feature-friendly and interactive than a typical web meeting or website, or much more representative of the type of behavior and interactions you would find when you attend a trade show in person. Attendees get all the benefits and more of attending an in-person trade show, but none of the downsides. They don't have to get on a plane. They don't have to stay in a hotel. They don't have to lose days away from what they really need to work on. So what we're seeing right now is the welcome to this trade show area. And now I'm going to actually go to the trade show floor. So the Connected Transportation Virtual Trade Show will be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whenever it's convenient for them to attend it. And they will always be able to find what they need, when they need it, and will always be able to have that interactive experience where they can directly connect with representatives from the firms they are interested in. MTAM will be also bringing existing in-person conferences from around the U.S. and around the world into the environment, offering producers of those events the opportunity to expand their attendee to a global audience. Doing this will provide even more potential customers for your exhibits, as the environment is able to accommodate up to 50,000 visitors at once. Conferences held in the environment also can be archived, which means those who can't attend the event when it's live often listen to it later and will allow the exhibits to have the same time, again, giving your exhibits even more exposure. The advantage for you as a potential exhibitor in the virtual trade show is the opportunity to purchase an exhibit in an ongoing extended duration trade show, where potential customers from around the globe will be able to access your firm's information 24 hours a day. Your exhibition can be customized to your firm's branding. You can add video, marketing information, white papers, whatever kind of content you would like to market your products and services, and update it whenever you need to within minutes. You can even do a live webcast from your exhibits. All of this is available at a cost significantly less than your typical single in-person trade show. So let's go into one of these booth locations. As you see here, we have now entered into a booth location. Let's talk a little bit about the features that we have associated with the virtual environment in itself, as well as the booth location. So as I said before, everything we're seeing is completely customizable. It's flash streaming, so therefore your audience does not have to download anything to access it, as well as your admins. Your audience can actually access this environment via their desktop or even their mobile device, make it an iPhone or an Android without any downloads. So I have the ability to subscribe to various booth locations, and whenever I subscribe to those booth locations, I will always know when something new happens because I'll get an email update, whether that's new content, new literature, new courses, or maybe even a new webcast. All of that can be added into my What's New or my briefcase. Obviously, the admin have the ability to push out announcements on the fly, and I, as an attendee of this trade show, have the ability to put files and contacts, messages all into my briefcase in the cloud, or I can actually download as hard copies as well. As you see here, some of the features I have associated with my booth location are things like having Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. I can send a booth chat to the rep You'll notice right now that the rep is offline. No worries, because once again, this is a perpetual environment. That rep just puts their email into the system. Any questions that I have for the rep will actually just get redirected to that person's email, and that person can address the questions accordingly. The most important feature associated with your booth locations is your information kiosk. This is where your briefcase really comes into play. As you see here, I can have a brief about us in my information kiosk. I can have products and services associated with my information kiosk. And then I can also provide literature for my users. So if I ever see any content as a user that I want to put into my briefcase, by a simple click of a button, I can update that into my briefcase. And now I know that I have this content. I don't need to see it again. I also have the ability to rate that content so that your exhibitors really get to understand how people are relating with the content that you actually have in your locations. Once again, this content can vary from static material to video content as well. One of the most important features also that you're getting with your booth locations is the ability to have that booth chat. So obviously I can have active chats. I can actually set targeted visitors if I would like. I can have an internal rep chat. What's really nice is I can look at my users and view what activities they've done. For example, what locations they've gone to. If they've signed up for a virtual learning course, are they watching a particular webcast? I'm able to see this and then interact with those attendees of my environment. So taking a couple steps back real quick, I want to talk a little bit about our smart dashboards and then talk about our environments in itself. So once again, you have deep analytics associated with these environments. So I, as the admin, can really find out how my users are interacting with content so I can give them the content that's most relevant to them. How they enjoy the webcast, are they rating those webcasts, are they finding those webcasts to be relevant, all of which I can find out through my smart reports. And then once again, when we're talking about these virtual environments, we're talking about a space with various different locations. And so far, we've only talked about one location, and that location was the exhibition hall. Let's talk a little bit about the resource hall. So the resource hall should be a little bit self-explanatory. Think of the resource hall as a repository for your content for not a specific booth location, but for the environment in itself. Once again, that content can be static, like a PDF, or it can be something like a video clip or an audio clip. Once again, all of that content can be put into people's briefcase. Another location that we have associated with your virtual environments is your networking lounge. Your networking lounge is a great way to have your users to interact with one another. Notice on my networking on the bottom of my screen, I can search users within this environment by their name. I can see who's joined, who's in here at this specific time. I can participate in a public chat. And as I said before, this is a truly global platform. We have the ability to translate all the buttons you see here, all the registration, in up to 17 different languages. Users of this environment can have chat translation in up to 37 different languages. So we're really talking about a global 24/7 perpetual virtual environment. And this networking lounge is really a great way to promote that engagement amongst the users that are joining into this environment. Now taking a couple steps back real quick, so far we've talked about that exhibition hall, we talked about that resource hall, and then we talked about the networking lounge. The last two locations I want to touch on, one being the webcast. So as you may have heard, you have the ability to run a webcast from your booth location. Think of a webcast to be a one-to-many presentation, similar to what I'm doing right now. It can be anything from audio and slides to webcam and slides or even robust video, 1080, 720 video if you need that, in fact. So as you see here, we have a repository in our conference hall is what it's referred to of webcasts. I can see more details about this particular webcast, who's hosting the webcast, how long it is, a brief summary. Perhaps I'm not interested in watching it. I can always download a podcast and just listen to it on the fly. But in the event that I do want to watch it, I now see this webcast. Now what's very important is that we offer 3 different types of webcasts: live, on demand, and simulated live. So it's really allowing you to engage with your audience live, and even though people may not be able to join the live session, they can still ask questions during the on-demand session. Same concept as your booth location. Someone puts their email into the system, and then any questions that come in through the on-demand session will actually just get redirected to that person's email. We also have other features available to you like polling, Q&A, pushing surveys, images, video clips, so on and so forth. So just remember, webcasting is a feature that's available for you as well. And this concludes my presentation on the virtual environments. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us.